Hey Wichita, how's it going? I wanted to jump on here quick. I'm not going to ramble too long like I sometimes do because I know your time's important, but I wanted to get on here and address the number one question we always get as realtors is, how's the market? And so I'm going to go over four things real quick for you, and I got notes, so bear with me if I'm not entirely succinct because this is live, so we're going to go with it live. I got a bunch of infographics too that I'll post in the comments for you guys to see too, because I know that if you visually see it, it helps you understand a little bit better than just hearing me rant and ramble. The first thing I wanted to go over is that we've actually been seeing home prices increase, and that's due to a couple things. One is because there's a shortage of inventory. We only have about 1.5 months of inventory on there, meaning that if we sold all of the existing houses on the market, it'd only take us a month and a half to do that. So that's a all-time low. And so what happens with that, when there's less supply and a bunch of buyer demand, the houses go up in price. So, you know, that's kind of obvious. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. I'm doing my best. So that's why we've seen the home prices actually gone up, because there is such a shortage of inventory, but there is the demand. And some people think because of this pause with the economy and everything going on with the economy, they think that everything's going to tank because of 2008, and that's not really the case. We've actually seen the opposite of home prices increase in value, which is something I'll get into on point 3 about residential housing. But first I want to talk about unemployment in the economy, which is point number 2, which has to do with the economy gained 4.8 million jobs. And so there's a lot of jobs that were added in June to, was it June or July? I don't know. Look at the infographic in a sec. But there were 4.8 million jobs that were added. And so a lot of the, actually 60% of the unemployment and the layoffs were temporary and went back to work. What you also found was that 60% of those layoffs and that unemployment was in the leisure, hospitality, secondary, auxiliary type of markets, spending not that's necessity, and some might get offended by this word, but essential. But a lot of the cutbacks were in those type of services, and so that it wasn't exactly the core pieces of our economy that got shut down. And now that things are opening back up and we're figuring out ways to still keep things going, those essential services are going. Only about 40% of those job losses were permanent. And what I think a lot of companies were also finding is that those job losses were permanent, not just because of this coronavirus situation, but because they figured out, I don't need all these people. I got a bunch of inefficiencies and dead weight and overhead that doesn't need to be in here. And even if this coronavirus wasn't going on, I was probably going to get rid of those people anyway. And so they just went ahead and did that. So don't entirely look at the sky is falling because there's 40% of those jobs were permanent layoffs. Those positions probably need to be eliminated anyway within the company, regardless if there's a health situation going on. I think there's one more point that I missed on there. Nope, I got both of those. Check out the infographics here in a sec when I post them. Number 3 that we got going on is that what we've seen is kind of what we've always known, is that real estate, residential housing, is always a safe and solid place to put your money, to the point where Americans are still ranking that as the highest investment, if you will, to put their money. Although me personally, you've probably heard me talk about this before, I don't consider it an investment when it appreciates only at 6%. That's more like a savings account or a safeguard against inflation when you're really not gaining that much in value. Although you're not losing money, you're not getting 1 or 2% when inflation's at 3%, and you're only getting 3%. So at least you're earning a little bit of money on the money you're stocking away into your house, into your personal real estate. So residential housing is a very safe and solid place to put your money. And what we're also seeing is that there's a ton of equity sitting dormant in residential housing that over the next 10 years is gonna get transferred over from the older generation to the newer generation. Whether that be people moving to assisted living centers, inheritance and just people wanting to cash out, or those kids who get the house, or whoever the inheritors are, fixing the house up, bringing it to the market, and bringing this much needed inventory to the market. We're seeing that there's a lot of dormant cash and a lot of dormant equity sitting in housing in the U.S. market. and to where it's actually poised to help us lead out of the economic recovery if we can get these homes moving, across the nation. And I would say that's really true in Wichita too. Being such a conservative town, we tend to not stretch ourselves thin, and we have a lot that we're sitting on, specifically in our houses. And so I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of quote unquote old money getting circulated into the economy, not just nationwide, but also in Wichita, through the form of some of these older houses coming to the market, either needing to be fixed or somebody fixed them and is now bringing them to the market to where people are dying for houses. We only got a month and a half of inventory. So please go flip your aunt or uncle or grandma's or whoever's house and get it to the market so that these buyers can get houses that they want. Or come sell it to me and I'll come flip it and do that. However we do it, just get it to the market so we can get that equity in motion for the economy. Number 4, make sure I got everything on number 3. Yep, we're good. So number 4, what I see a lot going on in a trend is that because we have such a shortage in inventory of existing home sales for resales, we're seeing a lot more people choosing and needing to go towards the new build route. If it doesn't exist, go build it. The other side of that is that consumers and buyers are pickier than ever, and they're to a point where they go, if I can just build a house and get it exactly where I want, why do I have to settle for this lack of inventory or what's out here? I'll just go build a house and get exactly what I want. And it's not as expensive as you guys think because the interest rates are so low is a piece of it, 3%. Go talk to your mom and dad about what their interest rates were like. I was just having that conversation today with a lady who bought her first house at 12% interest rate. Can you imagine buying a house at 12% interest rate right now? Go pull out your mortgage calculator and factor what your payment's going to be at 12% interest. You'll laugh, and I think you'll have a little bit more perspective on your parents' perspective, and also vice versa. If you start to factor in what your payment is at 3%, it is way different. So completely different buying situation, but the point is that people are able to go build a house now because of those low mortgage rates, and also because they don't necessarily have a choice. If they want a house, they're going to have to go build one, and the perks of that is you get it exactly like you like it. Now the catch side of that is, of course, you got to pay some specials. It does have a little bit more of ongoing costs with that, but that's kind of the cost of getting a home. And the other option is you could keep renting or you could keep living in the house that you're in. So you kind of got to just weigh the whole scenarios of how it all works together. And building a house is actually a really good route to go. The thing that I see specifically in the Wichita market, for one, is that builders, I don't want to say they can't build them fast enough. It's just there's such a huge demand for it. And, the build process takes 4, 6, 8 months to get a house done. There's only so much production that can go through in a quality amount of time, and having a lower contractor workforce to build those houses is a little bit of a struggle. Same with material supplies. So just because the demand is there for new builds doesn't necessarily mean builders can deliver the final product. So building a house is a good route to go. You just have to be a little patient. Same with finding a house, you got to be a little patient. As much as you see these houses quote unquote flying off the market, you have to be patiently persistent. That it might take you 4, 5, 6 offers to get a home, or it might take you 4, 6, 8 months to build a house, whatever it may be. That to get a house or to get what you're wanting, you're gonna have to have a little bit of patience. Even though our economy and everything moves faster than ever, you still got to be patiently persistent. So I appreciate you guys watching as always. Hopefully that didn't bore you too much. I'm going to put those infographics on here shortly for you guys to see, and we'll talk to you later. See ya.